Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing U.S. tourist visas and what I kind of call covert immigration. Arguably, it's fraudulent immigration, or it probably is fraudulent immigration. What's also described in the INA is intending immigrants without proper documentation. I got correspondence from a client recently who we assisted in getting his fiancée a K-1 visa into the United States. Quote, unfortunately, one of the individuals that flew with my fiancée, I'm redacting names here, that did not use your service did not make it through immigration at the airport. Again, I'm redacting the name of the airport, and was sent back to Thailand. Ugh. Yeah, ugh. That would be not a fun situation. And there are risks associated with U.S. tourist visas that people really don't take into account. Most notably, this intending immigrant without proper documentation issue. If you're using a tourist visa to effectively circumvent the immigration process, go into the U.S. and try to live there, you know, we used to see this a lot, years and years. I really, it's before my time, really, because Thailand has applied Section 214B of the Immigration and Nationality Act, which mitigates a lot of this. They've applied that section of the law rather fervently the past roughly 2 decades. But prior to that, going back to the beginning of the 2000s, it was a pretty common thing. People would get tourist visas, take their girlfriend back to the U.S., marry them there, and then file for a green card in the United States. And U.S. State Department, the U.S. at the time, INS, which became USCIS under the Department of Homeland Security, they don't like this. That's not the way the system works. And it's not the proper document. A tourist visa is designed for tourism. It's not designed to go to the United States to live there. So I don't know exactly what happened to this person, but I'm kind of surmising that they probably were. I've seen a lot of these. We usually see them after the fact. They've been turned around by what's called U.S. Customs and Border Protection. They're sent back, in this case, to Thailand, and then they have to deal with that. One of the big things is their tourist visa will be revoked. Now, if they're lucky, they'll be permitted to do what's called voluntary departure, come back, leave the United States, and in a sense, it's no harm, no foul, but they're in the record as having tried to enter that way. They're probably never going to get a tourist visa again, or at least unless they're not going to get one until their circumstances materially change. The thing to take away from this video, though, is if you have the intent to bring a loved one to the United States to marry them, or if you're already married even, to apply for a green card and stay there, a tourist visa is not the proper document to do that with. The other thing to understand about this is there could be even worse implications for trying to enter that way, most notably what's called expedited removal or expedited deportation, wherein you're basically put through a truncated deportation proceeding. This occurs under the IRA, an immigration. It was an amendment to the Immigration Act back in, I think, the late 90s. And essentially they put you through a truncated deportation proceeding, and if you're removed in that way, you're barred from returning to the United States for 5 years without a waiver. So this is something to really take into consideration when analyzing things associated with being removed from the United States. Because if you enter, or if you try to enter and CBP turns you around, you may get lucky and they just say, withdraw your application to enter and we're going to let you go on your way. In some circumstances, and I have personally dealt with these cases, they could say, no, we're putting you through removal proceedings and you're barred from returning for 5 years.